Do it again.
Well, hello! Once again, you have found a Texas Steampunk Connection, broadcasting to you throughout the multiverse Steamverse from our various bunkers and airships. With me, as always, is Thax, Gentleman Adventurer.
Hello, hello.
With me is Jack from Steam Chest.
Hello.
And you have with us today, Master Blue Stocking from Steampunk Dollhouse Podcast. So once again, we are here to talk, probably about steampunk, most likely, because that's what this is about. Thank you for listening to the Texas Steampunk Connection.
All right. Good evening, everyone. You have reached the Texas Steampunk Connection. Jack is not with us tonight. He had family duties, but Thax and Blue Stocking are with you. And we are graced with Laura Mayer, the writer of the Victorian collection that we talked about her Kickstarter some time ago, and now we all have the book, which is very exciting. We've had a chance to thumb through it, and we've already been talking about it, but I've been keeping my mouth shut because I've got a lot to say, and I want everyone to hear me.
Okay,
great, awesome little book. It says advanced costuming techniques, and I was really worried that it was going to go way over my head. Because although I've done some sewing and some applique and a little of this and that, I'm definitely not formally trained, and I'm not making the amazing ball gowns and suits and women's wear that are in here that are just they're way over my head. So what was cool is each chapter focuses on one outfit or costume. She says costumes, right? And more or less you go into a little history and a little design, how you sort of brought this piece together, but don't go into specifics of every detail, but then you focus on one aspect that you used in each costume, such as, how to cover a button with fabric, which seems like, oh, you just go to the store and you get the kit and you follow the instructions on the back. But if you want to do it right, you give some excellent clues and tips that only a advanced costumer would know to tell us. And it's not written so it's difficult to understand. You've got a very informal way of writing that I thought was really a lot of fun and really, carries you along. You're not like reading a textbook.
Yeah. It was very friendly and accessible and approachable.
Well, thank you. And that's exactly what I was aiming for and where I was going with this. The idea behind the advanced costuming techniques is that it's beyond the, okay, I got like a easy or a very easy pattern and I'm able to do that, done. I'm able to sew my own buttons back on and I'm able to do this. So I've got basic sewing skills. But as you are trying to do more costuming or more cosplay or try something a little more difficult or challenging, you're going to get into these other techniques that are more, quote unquote, advanced. And those beyond basic skills are going to carry you through a whole lot of different levels of outfit making, costume or actually daily wear. And so, things like covered buttons or putting in a hidden zipper or doing an interlining and all of these different things that you might run into, I put in here. But like you noticed, it isn't just a 1, 2, 3 walkthrough, because you can find that anywhere. I have a chapter on different trims, and you can find entire books on Victorian trims. So I'm not going to sit there and go over that and try and stuff it into a chapter. But what I did try to focus on is what you're not going to know until you've done something 4 times. And you wish you knew that before, even though you watched the tutorials.
Right. It's more of the tricks and tips that you have to have done it to figure out. And in reading it, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, that's obvious. but I never would have done it if somebody hadn't said it. So that's really cool.
That happens a lot. Oh, I should have known that. I should have done that from the beginning. I would have saved myself an hour and a half. And yeah, I tried to set up each chapter very similarly in that I kind of introduced the idea behind or the inspiration for the outfit. And sometimes it's a historic person, or sometimes I actually got a big old bolt of fabric somehow, and then I started researching how I wanted to use this particular fabric or color. And then I talked a little bit about how I made it, or how I decided on the design. But then, yeah, I do focus on one particular technique or one particular approach that I decided to use in that outfit that I kind of break down into that useful things that you should know before you go into that.
Well, and especially, like I said, sewing. My mother is a brilliant seamstress. I was never able to pick it up. But one thing that, looking through this and the way that you have broken things down, for someone with ADHD, it's a lot easier sometimes if I take things, if I'm not looking at the whole project, if I have to break things down into bite-sized chunks or it's too overwhelming. And so you've done that for me. You take that and you break that down into steps, and you give us little bits, we'll learn this technique, you can learn this technique, you can learn this, and eventually you can take it all and you'll be able to, look at the bigger picture. So that was actually very helpful for the neurodivergent class, and I appreciate that.
No, absolutely. I can't tell you how many times people come up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, I could never make that. I'm like, sure you could. It's just one step at a time. It's just a lot more steps than a starter pattern has.
Yeah.
It's but it feels overwhelming if you look at, okay, there's 150 steps.
Yeah, don't look at all the
No.
Yeah, you just break it down into pieces. And that's, like I said, that's why I was looking through it. I've been looking through it a little bit, since I've gotten it. I was going again today while I was at work, but I joke about being a terrible seamstress, but I don't know, looking at some of these, I think once I finish my PhD, I think I might actually embark on a new adventure. I need something to fill my time.
It's funny. I'm just going to finish the simple task of getting a PhD, and then I'm going to tackle something tough.
Hey,
Once I'm done with my thesis project.
I'm just saying we all handle certain things differently, and sewing, but it's like I said, it's because when you're little and you can't necessarily pick something up fast, so you don't want to do it all, and then it just builds up into this,
insurmountable.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And this makes it not so insurmountable. So,
Yeah.
It might be something I can do.
Shout out to Rita and Lawrence who have tuned in. They're waving. Say hello. Hello.
Hello.
It should be noted that the Victorian collection is still available. If you didn't get the Kickstarter, Laura has listed it on Etsy. Just go to Etsy and look for the Victorian collection, and it should pull right up. I'm gonna link it in the comments, but it is easy to find.
It is on Etsy. I'm working on getting it on Amazon. Boy, do they have a labyrinth of avenues to try to go through to get that listed. And I sent in an application to Barnes & Noble, so we shall see.
Yeah, Amazon's a little sticky if you're an indie, because I have a friend who's an author, and she had to go through a lot of hoops and barrels to get her indie print
It seems
put
like
up there. Yeah. It takes a little time.
Working on it. So we shall see. And I actually, I also have it up as an add-on, a possible add-on reward, add-on when you check out with my current Kickstarter.
The game, yes.
The game.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get to drinking, and then we can talk about the
and then we can
Kickstarter, if that's okay.
I'm here. I got my Cersei glass.
Oh, nice. What's in it?
Red wine, of course. Little Kerrigan from Wollersheim Winery here in Wisconsin.
Ooh, fancy.
So it's a really pretty winery, and they've been open for decades. And they opened a distillery, I want to say like 7 years ago. They've been growing and growing, but try and get up there once a year because it's so gorgeous.
Wow, fun. Okay.
Blue Stocking, do you have your standard red?
Actually, no, I don't. It's a red, but so whenever I go out to restaurants, the one thing I usually like the fancy restaurants we go to, I get the Prisoner red blend, and it never occurred to me to just buy it for myself. And there's a reason for that, because apparently the bottles are not cheap. But because I'm almost done with my prospectus, I decided to treat myself. So it's the Prisoner red blend. It's not something I can buy all the time, but it's really, really good. And I've been listening to I've been hearing some ads on a podcast I listen to that the winery actually has stakes in prison reform in California. They're working for prison reform and prison. So I was going to look into that and see what's going on with that. But the Prisoner red blend is really, really good if you're looking for a good mid-range. It's not my usual $10 red, but it's pretty good. So, and Thax, what weird beer do you have tonight?
I am not drinking a beer tonight. I wanted to make a hot toddy because it is the season, and we're finally getting some cool weather down here in Austin.
Yes, here too.
Oh, it's so nice.
It's wonderful.
It's tweed season. So failing that, I just made a whiskey sour.
Yeah.
4 Roses whiskey, which is a nice, affordable, middle of the road. It's been pretty good. I hadn't tried it before, so 4 Roses is doing me pretty well, and so that's what I'm having.
I enjoy 4 Roses.
I'm not a whiskey person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
not a
this new
whiskey drinker.
Kickstarter, right?
Yes, the new Kickstarter.
Yes. Okay. So this might seem like very different, but I just look at it, like the costume book, and then a steampunk themed murder mystery dinner game. But I look at it as it's just my second publication. I have all sorts of publications planned. I've got like 5 books listed here ready for me to, just get on to the next one. And I actually do own the website, or at least the URL. It's not a website yet. It's very similar, actually.
It sounded kind of similar, or that multiplayer online game where you have to pick who's the murderer, and you're all like puppets, and I don't know what it is.
It's like a complicated Among Us. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And so the premise is with most murder mystery dinner games is there's usually 6 or 8 characters, and you have people come to your abode to fill these character spots, and the game is played out through multiple rounds. Clues are revealed, and by the end of the game, you put together the clues, and everyone makes their accusations and see if you can figure out who the murderer is. The themes and the clues and the ways that these are set up vary greatly. And with mine, I even specify you don't have to have dinner during it. You can just, do it over a couple rounds of drinks or whatever. But seeing as it can take a couple hours, depending on how deep into like questioning and cross-examining you get, it's nice to have a snack.
Like a charcuterie board and some murder.
A giant charcuterie board for 8 people. Yes. So I have played, good Lord, I don't even know how many. I would have this thing where anytime I would see a murder mystery dinner at the thrift store, I would grab it. I'm like, we are going to do
How many are you finding at the thrift store?
You'd be surprised. I think I've only bought like 3 of them. But admittedly, this was a while ago. And but I've been having them since I was 20, which is, at least 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
Give or take 200 months or something. I don't know. So I have been doing a lot of murder mystery games. I mean, part of it is I enjoy having company over for dinner and socializing and stuff, and it gives it kind of a fun theme through the structure through the evening. And you actually, I always play, even though I'm hosting. I always do one of the characters because I'm like, maybe I'll be the guilty one. It's fun. You never know. I have a couple times, and I've even played the same one. Sometimes I'll just wait like 4 years so I forget who it was. It'll be fine. I'll forget. But this is not the first murder mystery that I wrote. The first one that I wrote was, God, I'd say it was like after 2 or 3 that I had played. And I'm like, I should make one. I'm going to make a, what did I call it? I called it Dinner at Dracula's. Right? And I had all sorts of, I mean, all to the nth stupid puns with the names like Mina Ornice was her name. You know, nice. It's really terrible. And I wrote it just because I was gonna do a murder mystery game with friends. And I wrote it and I almost finished it. And I came upon it like, I want to say like 5 years ago. So, you know, like 15 years had passed. I don't know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember this. And I'm looking through it. I'm like, I didn't finish. Oh, I don't remember how I was going to finish it. I don't remember who the guilty party is. I'm like, it's almost a challenge to like go back and go, okay, we're going to figure out who was the guilty one, because I don't remember. I really don't. But so then I was thinking about it. I'm like, I should do another one. What would be fun? Steampunk one would be fun. And so then, the gears started turning. And
really?
Get used to it, because this game is ridiculous. I have so many puns. I mean, it's called Cogs Aplenty.
I know. I've been looking at it as the emails come through.
So a couple things that I've done differently is the last murder mystery that I played was a Star Trek themed one, Next Generation, and it had a cassette tape. But I played it last year. This is one of the ones that I found. Actually, this wasn't a thrifting one. This was eBay. I had to go to the thrift store and find a cassette player and then make sure that it worked so that I could play the tape. So the point is, I'm doing audio files for mine.
Wow.
So
okay.
Actually just download the audio file and then play it through whatever Bluetooth enabled device that you have. And that way you don't have to like try and find a computer that still has a CD drive or a cassette tape.
I know about 6 songs featured in the soundtrack of Drive, including
you hear that?
A Real Hero Like
So this is my computer. Stop. So I named my dot computer. So when it heard me, it's like, oh, what do you need?
Here's your sports update.
Computer's sassy.
Every once in a while, my husband and I will actually have to spell out COMPUTER so that I won't pick up.
So if we just start, never mind, I'm not going to do that.
It doesn't actually hear it in songs. We checked. It was a strange hip hop song that we had to use to check. It's really strange, but yes.
Okay. So back to the
audio files.
Yes,
is the first change. The other change is usually the murder mystery dinners were set up for like 4 couples, 4 men, 4 women, and we have progressed, and I have just made all of the characters and their backgrounds and their characteristics. They're just not gender based, so anyone can play any of the characters. In fact, one of the characters is an automaton. Yep. Possibly guilty. We don't know. Well, I know.
It's always the robots.
So in this game, there is a predetermined character who is the guilty party.
Guilty party.
Like, it's not like it's a different character every time you play.
That's a very interesting statement there, because so my third stretch goal on the Kickstarter is actually to have an app designed so that the entire thing can be played from a mobile device. So basically, it would just be like the host receives all of these files, and they can send out keys for these folders to their players, and the players can get their booklets and everything individually. But with that option, I would also create 4 different endings. So you could play version 1, 2, 3, or 4, and they would each be different from this original version, because as the clues are revealed, different things make different people more likely to have committed the crime than others. And so what I would do with this app is that right around the middle of round 2, I would start altering the events and who did what and what is more and less incriminating. And so it would add replayability. So you wouldn't have to wait 5 years in between plays to forget who the guilty party was. You can just be like, well, the family's getting together, and I thought this would be a cute activity, so we're going to play version 2 now.
No, I like that. Cool. So almost like a not choose your own adventure, but kind of your actions do direct it to a certain extent. Is the player's actions, do they?
Well, I would actually be rewriting.
Okay.
And I would rewrite what happens, or which characters did what, so that it would actually change. So even if you had played the original version, you're not going to know who did it, because right around the middle of the game, details will start changing.
Okay.
And those facts, those incriminating facts, will be now pointing to a different person.
But the conclusion is predetermined at the beginning.
Yes.
It's not like the players can finagle things and a different guilty party is guilty at the end.
Correct. You can be wrong about who you think is guilty. And I have some voice actor talent coming in to do the narration at the beginning, and to do the voice of the awful old man who got offed, arrested, Wilcott Winslet III. How do we hear his voice, you wonder? That's an interesting story. Harnessing the power of the ether. Yes, I've taken some liberties with the term ether, Ethernet, and even automaton, really.
Every steampunk author has taken liberties with the term ether. All of the books that I'm going to be using for my dissertation are about libraries, and ether pops up in most of them. It's an amorphous. It's a
umbrella term.
Yeah, alchemy. I mean,
I thought ether was the smell of an old book. That's scent. That's ether.
Actually, one of the librarians I work with was like, "That's the smell of books dying." I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, that's so sad.
But she's got the sweetest voice, so when she said it, we were like, "Oh, that's horrible." Ether pops up everywhere. Ether is there? I'm sure there's a definition for it, but I've seen it used in so many different steampunk books at this point that.
So that's what I figured. I'm like, it's good. It's fine.
It's malleable.
I'm doing some world building. I made up a new material, new ore, Vintherium. Mm-hmm.
Wait, what is it?
Vintherium.
Vintherium. Okay. And what is Vintherium?
It's an ore that you can mine. And this
really?
And the automaton's base structure is made out of it, and the city that the story is based in, Gearborough.
You're killing me.
Already. Oh. Killer.
Can't even with you.
So Gerbero started as a modest mining town and has become extremely prosperous. It's kind of outpaced its own growth, so kind of like ahead of itself.
Okay, so the world that we've got going on, the world building that you're doing with the Vintherium and the Ether, this is not an alternate Earth or anything. This is a completely new,
very, very vaguely Victorian-y city.
okay.
Yeah.
Just kind of that smog and gas lamp thing going on, and
Exactly.
okay.
Strangely luxurious buildings given the time frame, and
It's okay. It's steampunk. You can make it all work.
It was a gilded age.
The automaton has a not so charming ism. He actually all the time.
He does what?
He actually.
Oh, he will actually.
Oh,
Oh no.
He robo-splains everything. Like, well, in fact, did you know that in 1824,
No.
almost everyone is thoroughly irritated by it.
it sounds so fun.
I really hope he's the killer so that we can get him out of here. Yeah.
I hope it's not a dirty word to say. This sounds like a parlor LARP.
Oh, this kind of fun.
And I've been in games or watched games where the players will take on the characters so well that it doesn't really matter who did it at the end. You just want to keep playing because these characters have become so fun.
I hope that's how it turns out.
Aw.
That all depends on your players.
This is true. And I found that different people are comfortable with different types of, let's just say, like role play in general, which this requires to a degree. And I found in playing a lot of murder mystery games that there's usually two types. One is completely scripted, where you open it up and you can be taking notes, you can be keeping track of the clues and everything, but you've got your character and you read your parts, and so that's how the clues are revealed, and that's how the time frame is revealed and everything, and or timeline. And the other type is kind of freeform, where you get a list of the facts that you know and the facts that you need to reveal per round, and maybe you get some secret clues that you open up, but it's very much just you need to at some point reveal all of these during conversation. And both of those have their advantages and drawbacks. People can feel very constrained by the idea of, oh, so we're just going to read a 25-page script.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've seen the complete freeform just turn into, you got 8 people with 3 clues that they need to get out every round. That's 24 clues. And so people just kind of like spew their clue, and before someone can respond or cross-examine, another person is, yeah, well, I saw you talking to Fred in the hallway at 1:20 a.m. So what do you have to say about that? And the other one is just like mowed right over, and people just do that. So it just turns into a constant barrage of, well, I saw this and I saw this, and no one actually gets to deeper revelations or confessions or anything, because it's just one person trying to get their clues out after another.
It's just chaos.
Yeah. So I decided on a mix where at the beginning of every round, there's one page of a little back and forth with characters, so you get a feel for their personalities and for the interaction. And then there's a couple of clues that need to be revealed. And that way you get a little bit of both. So not all of the pressure is on you to create a dialogue, and you get some of those puns in there. But at the same time, some of it is more freeform, where you can do a little bit more independent play acting.
Sounds very complicated and involved.
It's
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
All lines back and forth.
I do feel when I step into a LARP situation, some anxiety in trying to find the character I'm supposed to be and being more gregarious than I am. So I think a script like that is helpful, a crutch, if you will, but to sort of get the ball rolling. I think that's really good, but also pushes you to play and not just
no.
read
I need that too.
read the script.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would need that absolutely. I'm not a gregarious person, so having that would help me along.
Yeah. So that's that's where we're going. I got let's see, comic artist and author did the cover art, which you've probably seen splashed around. It's going to be on the box of the hard copy of the game. And see, the author who did that was Nathan Lewis, and he's got a Kickstarter up right now as well for an anthology of I think comic stories in the theme of modern magic, which is kind of fun for October. But so we got that. I don't know if you guys are familiar with TeslaCon.
I know what it is. I've never.
Yeah.
It's outside the state of Texas, so I'm probably not going to make it to that.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds kind of like it's like our north answer to what you guys have going on. It's actually on the same weekend
As Steampunk November?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It's on the same weekend. It's the longest running, I believe, largest immersive steampunk convention in the U.S., and it's in Wisconsin. So yeah, that would be quite a trip. And I'm going to be showing in the fashion show in the realm of Taking Too Much On this fall. And I'm also going to have a table there with my book and the game. And so lots going on. But the point was, one of the actors that has been involved in TeslaCon like from year one is one of their main immersive characters, Dr. Emmanuel Procticus. He's the bad guy.
Never mind what that sounds like. Never mind.
I know. I saw that when I was looking at the Kickstarter page. I'm like, okay.
I know. He does really well. But he's going to do some of the voice acting. And then I have separate voice acting for the narration. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Excuse me.
Are you guys having allergies up there like we are down here? I see all of us kind of coughing and hacking.
The allergies, yeah.
It's the dry air now. It's just really kicked in.
Yeah, the cold, dry air.
Mm.
Yeah, just sets in your lungs.
We got snow yesterday morning. I'm going to say that, although that's tongue-in-cheek, because it was just, we had snowflakes. It didn't even stick.
Yeah, snow.
That's not snow.
I don't like snow. No.
Yeah.
No. I lived in Pennsylvania for 8 years. I know from snow. Mm-mm.
I'm not ready for it yet.
Yeah. It is a little early even for
It is.
that part of the country. I mean, the first year that I lived up there, we got snow on Halloween, but again, it was just like the dusting. It didn't really stick to anything.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I'm not ready yet.
I prefer our cold, rainy winters. It's much easier to deal with.
Rain? Yeah, I can deal with rain.
So for the game, I'm just taking a look at because I didn't get a chance to look at it earlier. How long is the Kickstarter?
The Kickstarter is going until, it is the week of Thanksgiving. I did it a little bit longer this time because I wanted it to go through TeslaCon. I believe it's ending on the 22nd. Now I have a tickle. So it will be going for like another full month.
Okay.
And we're at, I think, coming up to about 20% funded right now. And yeah. I have obviously the boxed version available for one of the reward levels, but I'm also doing a PDF like print at home version. But also with the boxed version, I am including PDF versions of the player booklets, because if you have 6 people that you want to play, and then another pair of people who can't be there live for some reason, you can just send them the PDF of the player booklets, and they can zoom in, and you can have a full group.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I like that. Okay.
so lots of options for it too.
And as of this afternoon, I saw that you were 18% funded
Woo woo.
already, which is exciting because the stretch goals are where it's at. And I noticed your first stretch goal is to include basically a recipe book as part of the game.
So a lot of times with murder mystery dinner games, they will have menu suggestions. And so I'm going to include that in the base copy. But if we get to the first stretch goal, I'm going to actually include like complete menu options with recipes.
Wow.
Still pun studded, of course. But and the only reason I'm not doing it on the base copy is just because it's more printing. And the printing is really where so much of the cost comes in. Like I have the costs for the campaign broken down at the very bottom of the page, the campaign page, and it's like 60-70% it's printing costs, and that's me doing it myself at FedEx.
Oh,
For the most part. The box obviously is going to be printed out, and a couple of the things, the map of the factory. It's the new wing of the factory that is going to be debuting this brand new automaton, which is the first of its kind, prototype, and it's very exciting. Unfortunately, Erastus was cruelly knocked over the railing and crushed to death in the maws of giant gears.
oops.
Irony. Actually, they were steel.
Oh my God.
I know.
You're gone. You're never coming back.
Ah.
Well, I was gonna pledge until you made that joke, and
It's gonna be awful and wonderful.
it sounds absolutely delightful. Honestly, I'm not even kidding.
It's like if you need some whimsy.
Don't we all need some whimsy right now? I mean,
So yeah. Poor Erastus.
Well, I was hoping that we could spend some time tonight talking about costumes for Halloween coming up and for these conventions, because we have all this Halloween stuff that's still at the stores, most places, and is not available the rest of the year. I wondered, if you guys had any ideas or things to share about how you can take those things and throw them into a steampunk costume, or I don't know, anything you were thinking of. Because we've had this whole month and we haven't talked about costuming, and it's my favorite. I know Rita has been hoping to hear us talk about it too. Have you been working on anything, Blue Stocking? You've been busy, so it's okay to say no, I guess.
no, I'm recycling old costumes, but I'm going to dress up twice because for some reason, campus, they're doing the costume contest on Friday the 28th. I'm not really sure why, so I'm going to wear my lazy Ghostbuster costume. I have the whole jumpsuit, but I got that in 2017. I'm a little bigger now, so I just wear the jumpsuit up to I leave it draped at my waist, and I'm going to wear just a thermal shirt with my I'm here for the booze t-shirt. So I'm going to do that on Friday, but on Monday, the library is going to be dressing up. We're going to have our own party. I'm doing my witch costume. So, my red and white striped stockings and my black dress, and I've got a velvet hat, and then I've got I got some black Fluvog witchy boots.
Nice.
They are amazing. They're so beautiful. So I mean, they're recycled costumes, but they're my favorite ones, Ghostbuster and Witch. So, yeah.
I think recycled. I think the costumes you've already established and you're comfortable in are the best ones, because now you get to add more stuff and develop the costume more when you have the time and you don't have to take on the whole thing.
Well, and actually, my Proton pack, I got it from Amazon. It's a kid's size, but it's all steampunk. It's plastic, but it's all steampunk looking. It's like a steampunk Proton pack.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to find the pictures from the last time I wore it and post it. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's a Ghostbuster costume. I mean, there's a million different things that you can add to it. And witch costume, there's tons of stuff to do. So then actually the dress is from a steampunk company on Amazon. So
cool.
That's what I'm doing. Easy peasy.
I have 3 outfits planned. Well, not making. I mean, 3 costumes that I'll be wearing at some point. I'm not making more. Just looking on fashion show is enough. So I did pick up a used like a white wool coat, off-white, and like a turtleneck thing. I'm going to be Joanna Constantine from the new from Sandman.
Yes.
So that's going to be a thing next weekend up here in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee. There's a pop-up. There's a Ghibli studio pop-up at a local bar, and it's going to be super, super fun. So I'm going to do that, and going to be accompanying Sandman, and that should be fun. But that's easy. That's like white wool coat. I made a belt for it because it needed a belt. You just pop the collar. You're good.
Pop the collar, yeah.
Yeah. Steampunk outfit that I made years past. I'll be wearing in New Orleans on Halloween. I call it my evil outfit of evil. It was it's the giant Maleficent horns, not these little baby ones, the decent ones. These are just my day horns, and a red coat that I modified from a truly Victorian pattern and gave it a great big tail. And it's all black, red satin lining and black leather edging and all this stuff. And it's going to be super fun, and it's also just about the right speed for walking around in New Orleans at the end of October, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But then probably one other one is I made qualify that. I have a Lady Dimitrescu costume from oh my god, I'm losing cred right now, the zombie game. I've actually never played the game, but I'm a big fan of taking the characters that you find and like going, this character has a really fun costume and I really enjoy this. I am completely okay. So it's a computer, like Steam game, computer game, and it's all zombies. And I've never been. I'm not saying I've never played zombie games, because I have, but that particular one. And now that I'm trying to think of it, I will not be able to. If anyone in the comments can think of the damn zombie game name, great. But
I don't know the name of that game either, but I know that character.
Yes, so she's mommy vampire, right? And she's in the white dress and the black gloves,
the big hats,
and the ridiculous hat, right? So what I want to say here is that I've never been a fan of reinventing the wheel for the wheel's sake. If you don't need to make an outfit from scratch, why? Why do it? If it's something unique that will never be, it does not exist before now, or you really can't take something and modify it and make it your own, okay, then make it yourself. But there's no reason to start from scratch just for the sake of, well, I have to make it myself. Well, do you have to? So I did a lot of research on a couple different online platforms looking at the reviews, and I found a dress that looked like it was, somebody had commented about how it's really stretchy. I'm like, good. Somebody said the fabric is kind of sheer, but really good quality. I'm like, odd combination, but I'll keep that in mind. So basically, I put together all these reviews and said, okay, I'm gonna get this one. I don't think the hat that comes with it is going to be good, and we'll see what the other accessories are like. Mixed reviews, but it looks like the dress is going to be pretty good. So basically, I got the dress, I hemmed it up a little bit. I added a couple more buttons to the back. I got a different hat because I was right, the hat was terrible. But other than that, it turned out to be a really good outfit. I wore it at MetaCon in Minneapolis, which was the first con at which I was selling my book. I was very excited. Kind of just lucky landed into that table, and I'm like, all right, I'll try out my spiel, see how people respond. And that was the first time I was wearing that outfit, so that was pretty good. So I'm probably going to take it to New Orleans, but it was nice not making something from scratch. It was very nice.
Yeah, building is a lot easier. You can do it. What about you, Thax? What are you doing for Halloween?
Well, I got ideas. I don't know if they're going to come to fruition, but I'm an absurdist by nature, if you didn't know already. So there's this costume, this already made costume at Target where you dress up as a taco. And it's got this big shell and then like this sort of placard in the front with salad. Okay, that's not it. Okay, this is the start. You want to buy a few of those, take them apart, and make a waistcoat out of the middle salad part, and make a cutaway coat of the tortilla. And then I've got this sort of this taco hats that I got from previous years, and I'll be like the Victorian Lord Taco.
Big Victorian taco truck man. I cannot wait to see this. You have to do this.
So that was one idea.
And I dare you to wear it to Steampunk November. I double dog dare you.
The cravat. I need a big cheesy cravat.
It sounds like a cheese cravat.
Maybe some sour cream. I don't know.
Some lettuce lace around the sleeve.
It's like a little shredded lettuce. Oh no.
Yeah.
Please do that.
Yeah. So it sounds like that's a big win. I could do that.
Little black olive tie pin.
Ooh.
I am normally not a fan. Okay, I tend to be a Halloween purist. I bigger fan of the spooky costumes or something horror but that I will change my rule for that. Because honestly, I think it might be a little scary, and I want to see especially because I know your attention to detail, so I think that might be absolutely delightful.
Be fun.
Yeah.
The downside I see is it's all polyester plasticky, and down here,
that'll stick to you.
Even though it's middle of November, it's going to probably be warm.
Yeah.
Or freezing. It goes one way or the other. I don't know.
And you're not going to know until that morning, and even then.
Yep.
Awesome.
But I've been wandering through the dollar stores and looking at all the plastic animal skeletons and thinking, what can you do with those? There's a ton of them. They're like the only thing that hasn't sold already, but they're a lot of fun. And there's got to be something you can do, right? They make a great piece on a hat, or as a fascinator.
Mhm.
And you don't have to leave them as skeletons, right? You can. So I've got this rat here that I've corpsed. This was for a previous year's Halloween.
I love it.
But you could take some paper mache and put his guts back on and make him like a super realistic rat.
You just put him right up on your.
Or what do they have? A little raven, or
Like a steampunk
skeleton
bully.
octopus. There's no reason to have a skeleton octopus, right? They have those. But
Wait,
if you-
seriously? A skeleton
They
octopus?
do. They have skeleton butterflies.
I don't. Okay.
by all means, it makes no sense. But with a little paper mache, you can turn it into the animal again.
Reconstruct.
Yeah.
They're skeleton puppies with their skeleton floppy ears. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't matter.
I've got a skeleton flamingo in my front yard right now, so I can't really judge.
I have the skeletal owl. Everything about him is the same as the skeleton. What you call Jacro, carrion eater,
The vulture?
vulture.
Buzzard?
Yeah, it's like they took the vulture head off and they put an owl head on, but it's the same model. But if you like paper mache and put some feathery looking things back on, you've got an actual owl that you could attach to a costume. Unless you just want the skeleton, that you could do that too.
Jack needs to attach that to his.
There's a lot you can do with these things. I don't know how I would make them into my costume, but they are available. And this is the only time of year you can get them. So I feel like I should see more of this.
Actually,
I don't know why people
And
aren't just jumping on this.
Surprisingly steampunkable because having a plastic base is going to make it very easy to add things onto it.
Actually, you just reminded me the thing I was going to talk about tonight, and we'll talk about it next time. The book that I've been reading, there are bird skeletons, clockwork birds that deliver messages. There are clockwork bone birds in this book, and my brain just locked up, but I can't remember the name of the book now. But it's like 700 pages. It's like the Nevers kind of that people pop up in the Victorian era with weird powers. But yeah, the clockwork bone birds that deliver messages all over England.
Resident Evil. I don't know why I remember that while you were forgetting your thing.
Oh,
I'll remember in about half an hour. Yes, Resident Evil. I forgot how many iterations that game has gone through.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's currently a conspiracy theory that birds don't exist.
Yes,
Heard this.
yeah, birds aren't real and the earth is
Have you
round.
ever seen a baby pigeon? You haven't, have you? Because there are no such things as baby pigeons. Pigeons are robots built by the government to spy on us.
Oh my god.
There are robot carrier pigeons in my murder mystery game. I'm not lying. It's true.
I could believe anything because the CIA tried to create a spy cat in the 60s, Project Acoustic Cat. So I can believe. No, seriously, look it up. They actually tried it, and I believe that the one time that they got successfully implanted in the cat immediately ran into traffic.
Yeah,
that was the end of the project. It's so sad.
Is on?
Huh?
Is this what your thesis is on?
No, but now I wish it was. No, my dissertation is about libraries and open access, but it's going to be a podcast. So
Nice.
yeah, if I can
with
ever get
voice actors.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yes, with featuring Thax in one of the most important quotes. No, it actually is part of the basis of my whole dissertation. Thax is reading that quote for me. So. Yeah, and he did an excellent job.
My final project was on self-efficacy, and about whether or not independent of subject, self-efficacy strategies could be used to improve basically test scores and performance regardless of discipline.
Your master's is in education, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. No, so that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. No, I was looking through your book earlier. I know who you are.
I know you. Yes, but did you know all my punnage?
I know, but apparently I'm going to find out if I get this game. So.
Mom joke Mondays.
Mom
And
jokes and mom
them
jeans.
turn their cameras on so I can see their face when I told the joke.
There are quite a few little plays on words in this book already.
Yeah, a little bit.
I kept rereading. It's like, did she just say that?
Nice, totally.
Oh,
Yep.
Oh my God.
What is language there for if not to have fun with it?
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Stuff doesn't have to be dry and dusty and boring.
Mm-mm.
It can be smart and still be absolutely absurd.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's right.
All right. Well, it is 8:58.
What?
Yeah, we gotta cut it.
Yeah. Some of us are old and need our sleep.
That went quick.
It did.
So, Laura, thank you for coming out and joining us again on the show.
Thank
It's
you.
been a hoot having you. And good luck on the Kickstarter. We'll be promoting it. So I've already got it linked in the comments down there. But we'll be watching and make sure that thing reaches its goals and its stretch goals.
I'll get
Of
it out
course.
on the Twitter tomorrow. On
Yeah.
the Twitter,
Okay.
and on mine.
Well, thank you very much.
Of course.
I really appreciate being on again.
It was fun.
I had fun.
All right.
And, good luck with your masters. Or
Tonight's show has been brought to you in part by fairtreasures.com. Fair Treasures has a selection of Texas-made female-presenting costumes and accessories for Renaissance fair and steampunk wear. Also one-of-a-kind jewelry and alchemy jewelry imported from England. You can shop Fair Treasures at www.fair.treasures.com or on Etsy. We'd also like to thank Jenny and Ryan Shaver and Rita and Lawrence Allen as patrons on our Patreon page. If you'd like to become a patron of our show and help us out, we'd really appreciate it. We'll say your name at the end of the show too. You can find us on Facebook at Texas Steampunk Connection. You can email us at texassteampunkconnection@gmail.com. Our podcast is texassteampunkconnection.podbean.com, and this show will be streamed there by Friday, I think. We're on Twitter at TXSteamConnect1, and we're on YouTube and Rumble through the Steam Chat subscription box. Jack spent some time last week putting up like a year's worth of our shows on the YouTube, so now they can be found. And most importantly, our music
Is by
ZapLap.com. They give us permission to use this music for free as long as we mention them at the end of the show. Facebook, please do not block our music. Thanks to ZapLap.com. Okay. That's been a problem.
It's been a bit of a problem, yes.
Does anybody else have anything to add before we sign off tonight?
Nope.
just want to say thank you again. Lovely chat.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. And everybody, until next time, mind your gauges.